Hey everybody, amprepairguy.com here, 203-892-4119. We have a Heath Kit sb-220. So someone replaced some of the components on the metering board. I'm going to go ahead and it has bad solder joints, so I'm just going to do a new one, put it in. I'm going to put new filter caps in, so I'm going to put a series glitch resistor and I'm going to put another one in. So plate tune cap is damaged, needs to be replaced. Low tune, just figured out. Spacing is all off. It's not rotating like it should, so I'm going to replace that. I'm going to put in the proper parasitic suppressors. Change the plate blocking cap. Clean the rotary switches. I already looked at the contacts, they look good. Go ahead and ground the grids. Someone did some hokey stuff on the soft key board, so I'm going to replace that. And do all the other stuff. Change electrolytic. Repair this board. And someone tried to ground the grids, but they didn't ground them. They're completely isolated from ground. They have the cap and the resistor here. Cap, resistor there, resistor there. Resistor, but no choke, and they're not connected to these ground tabs through the screws, so I'll take all that out and I'll do it the right way. So I already checked the SO239s, so that's that. I'll be back when it's completed. See you soon. Yeah, just an intermission here. Got the grids grounded. Wanted to show this. So I went to touch up this. I was like, can I get away with not changing these? But cold solder joint at the connection here. It's moving around, and he actually, I didn't even know this, but he has these in series. It's wired for 220, but instead of having it jumped, he has these two. I'm assuming they're MOVs. I'm not sure. I'd have to look up the part number, but they're like in series where the jumper should be. So I'm going to pull all that out, fix all that. So I'll be back. Hey everybody, I'm back with this first Heath Kit sb-220. This thing needed a lot of work. So it's all done, fully tested. I'll go over everything I did. I'll try not to leave anything out. That's amprepairguy.com, 203-892-4119. First off, needed a new plate tune capacitor, needed a new load capacitor, air variable types, needed a new rotary switch. One of the 15-meter contacts was blown right off. Put in a new plate blocker, new parasitic suppressors because it had that RL measure stuff in there and took that out. New hardbox metering board, love his kits. New hardbox filter cap assembly. Series glitch resistor. New meter lamps. Someone went in here and swapped around capacitor values. They had them like swapped one side, the values that were on one side were on the wrong side, so I fixed all that. Got the SWR down on 10 meters. Well, that's done. I'll flip it over. One second. I need both hands for this. Okay, so on the bottom, it had some wiring over here that wasn't soldered correctly, and it was all the insulation was deteriorated. So I replaced that with Teflon wire, soldered it nice on, down here below. Had like MOVs or something in series here for the connection for the strapping point for 240 operation, so I removed those. The grids had caps, had capacitors and resistors to ground, but no chokes. So I took all that stuff out and grounded them properly. Went in here and did the bias modification, and I moved the wires over to this side. Got them away from the output wire there. Changed the electrolytic cap. Fixed the terminal strip. The other terminal strip was broken also for the meter lamp connection on the back of the front panel. Soldered and heat shrunk the wires for the fan, for the hardbox fan. Assembled and installed hardbox soft key kit. The other one had been, it was somewhat off-brand and it had been messed with. So that's now working correctly. And that's about it. Everything else looks good. Check the SO239 connectors. If anyone needs an amplifier repaired, please give me a call. 203-892-4119. amprepairguy.com. Have a great day. Hey, I wanted to show one more thing. Actually, a few more things. So, the plate choke right here, the wire was unwound. And this was loose, so it was all unwound and starting to unspool. So, I unspooled it, and then I stripped off the enamel. I used like a razor blade or a small file. Then I rewound it, put some super glue on there, replaced these little tabs, soldered it to the tab, and soldered these tabs together. And then I put the new resistors in. I wind these myself, and then I, installed those. So here's the old rotary switch for the output. You can see bad 15 meter contact is right. Where is it? Where is it? Right there. It's like wet. See right there. Here's the old plate tune capacitor. Once this starts, I don't even bother trying to file them anymore. Once it starts, it's just going to do it again. So you could take these apart and rebuild them, but it takes so much time. It's easier just to buy one for like $70 if you can find one. Here's the load one. It's hard to see. When you turn it, the plates are not equal as they in distance to each other as you turn it. The customer said he tried to tweak them. So I ended up high potting it. It did not high pot to the amount that it should have, so I ended up replacing that. There's the hardbox metering board that was in it. Someone went and started changing components and has a lot of bad solder joints, so I just ended up opting to just completely redo it instead of, would have taken more time to redo that than just to solder a new one together. Here are the filter capacitors that were installed. And here are here's a serious glitch resistor that was installed that was just hanging in the front compartment near the metering board. The old soft key that was messed with. Here are the resistors, and here are the capacitors. Actually, these ones for one of the input circuits was they weren't even soldered, they were just wrapped around the terminals. The customer said they had an intermittent SWR on one of the bands. It would go up, down, up, down. I believe it was for the, they were on the 40 meter band, and then here are some of the other ones that had to be replaced. So, I had these capacitors between the grids and ground. These resistors, but there were absolutely no chokes at all. So that's that. Any questions? 203-892-4119, amprepairguy.com. If you need any amplifier fixed, give me a ring or a text. Take care.